Hi folks. Today I want to talk about how to pick the right product role. Based on my experience PMing in 4 different companies, I've noticed that product roles can vary significantly depending on the product you work on, the company you're with, and the team structure. In this video, I'll dive deeper into these areas and how I think about them when looking at and positioning myself for a new role. First, let's look at the product. Question 1 here. Who is the customer? Is it a B2B or B2C product? In B2C, the user and the buyer are often the same. In B2B, the buyer is likely to be different from the user. The user might be a junior designer, but the buyer might be the VP of product. In a B2B2C, you might have even more types of customers. The more personas involved, the more challenging and interesting building, managing, and improving a product becomes. Second question is, would you be a user of the product? Working on a product you personally use can be exciting. I definitely prefer these. But it comes with a drawback of introducing personal bias into decision making. On the other hand, if you're not the user, you'll likely rely on second-hand opinions to understand the product deeply, but will be more objective and more reliant on external data. Third thing to consider in this area is the product industry specific or generic, that is industry agnostic. Industry-specific products, like in healthcare, finance, or insurance, often require domain knowledge. If you're looking to breaking into product management, domain expertise can be a huge asset to enter the PM career path. Fourth question, is the product customer-facing, a platform, or internal? Customer-facing products are exciting due to direct user engagement and feedback. Platform products, on the other hand, have fewer specific user problems to solve and instead solve more problems of scale. Platform roles can require some technical knowledge, but are also rewarding due to the long range of impact. Internal products carry less risk and offer constant access to users. An easy pathway into product management could start with managing an internal product. Finally, in the 5th question about product, is this the company's heart? Is it their core product? Is it the part of the product that the company is known for? Being close to the business's core product can provide a ton of visibility and career growth. It's also high risk and needs a fair amount of caution and risk management. On the other hand, specializing in a niche area like security or payments can make you highly sought after in those areas, but may also limit the flexibility in terms of how many roles you'd be the best candidate for. The next big section is on understanding the company. First subsection here is all about the effect company lifecycle stages have on a PM role, whether they're at the early stage, growth stage, or mature stage. Early stage companies tend to be run on investor capital, are small in size, fast-moving, chaotic, and product or founder-led. Whether pre or post-product market fit, they come with high risk and high reward. They require wearing many hats and stretching beyond defined roles. As a PM, you're likely to own and influence a large surface area of the product, maybe even the whole product. If the company succeeds, there are rapid career growth opportunities. One drawback is that there can be a lack of experience in best practices of PMing. That said, it can also be an opportunity for a more experienced PM to bring their expertise to help the company scale. In early stage companies, the focus tends to be on a key single product or proposition, possibly going through lots of pivots. Growth stage companies tend to be between Investor capital and starting to turn profitable. There are many exceptions here. They also tend to be more medium-sized and product-led with some sales arm starting to build up. They may start adding more products to their main value proposition at this point. When in a good state, they tend to have some well-established processes that are not too rigid and still leave room for flexibility. On the flip side, they do experience growing pains with training and onboarding. Lots of new employees trying to set up processes, ownership, and starting to run into issues with dependency management across teams. As a PM, you'll own and influence significant parts of the product, but you won't be soloing it. Overall, these companies offer a balance of impact, learning, and structured work. They are really popular with prospective PM candidates because they've established themselves in the market and offer the opportunity for fast, low-risk career growth. Mature companies tend to be profitable and efficient. They tend to have figured out how to operate at a large scale. The leading function often depends on whether the company is publicly owned or privately owned. If it is publicly owned, the company can be more sales and finance-led, catering to fiscal cycles. If the company is privately owned, it can depend on the founder or founders and their expertise. Companies can lean more towards engineering or design optimization or marketing, or a mix of any. Product teams in these companies own a much smaller slice of the product, so the scope and impact of your work may be lower due to specialization. But this is often balanced out by the sheer volume of usage you have on your product. Making a tiny change for millions of users is a different kind of impact to making a big change for hundreds or even thousands of users. Mature companies also could offer better work-life balance, though this varies by company and personal ambition. The second subsection when thinking about company is location. First things to consider, is it a global or local company? If the company operates globally and has products in multiple markets, you could expect regulatory complexities. This becomes even more nuanced if the product is in an industry-specific domain. Another area impacted is where most of the employees are located. You're likely to be optimizing your work for those time zones. As an Australian employee working for American companies for the last few years, I feel this extra hard. Second thing to consider is the work model remote, hybrid, or on-site. Being present in person can strengthen relationships and influence. If remote, finding how you can engage meaningfully with key stakeholders will be important. Hybrid models can be tricky if not implemented well. There can be an imbalance of experience between those who are present in person versus not. But if done well, can really be the most flexible way of working. The final big section is on evaluating the team. First, what is each product team's structure? A standard setup includes a product manager, an engineering lead, a designer, and engineers. Some companies operate differently. Sometimes the product management role may be closer to project management or even product marketing. In the clearest giveaways of this are if you don't have an exclusive team of engineers you're working with. Another question here is whether the team have cross-functional support, if a company lacks UX research, data, or marketing support. As a PM, you might need to fill in those gaps. Second, what is the culture like? No matter what stage a company is at, their leadership and culture matter a lot. What drives the company? Who is in the leadership? What's their background and experience? Does the company's culture align with your values? My favorite interview question to ask is, how do you feel on Sunday evening, assuming work starts on Monday? It helps me assess the realistic level of stress to expect in a role. So that's everything. And I'll caveat it with saying, this list of questions and considerations is secondary. The single most important thing is to pick what's right for you. Pick what feels most energizing and most expansive. The best way to do that is to know yourself and be realistic about what you'd enjoy, or at least what you could tolerate. These questions could help you figure out what you like. Don't let these questions take you on an overthinking, overanalyzing spiral. I also want to add that if you're new to the game, most of these things don't matter. Any role you take will be a solid learning experience. Thank you for watching, and I hope you found this helpful. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback. What was helpful? What wasn't? What else would you like to hear about? Until next time.